Right, guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be talking about why now is the best time to be starting a social media marketing agency. Hi guys, if you're new to the channel, my name's Harry and I am co-founder of a digital marketing agency that was started over 3 years ago that is now making over £35,000 a month in reoccurring monthly profits, not revenue. And we've proved that figure multiple times over our Instagram and our YouTube. So you know it's not bullshit. And in this video, we're going to be talking about exactly why now is the best time to be starting a social media marketing agency. And it's for those people that are kind of on that borderline edge of, should I start a social media marketing agency? Should I give up if I'm really struggling? And kind of, is now a right time? Is it not a good time just because of all of the content that's currently being produced on YouTube? And kind of to debunk a few kind of misconceptions of, is it a scam or whatever? So just going to jump directly into the time of year, or, we're in November now, moving into December, January. Why this time of year particularly is a good time to be starting a social media marketing agency. And the reason is, in the new year, a lot of businesses get new budgets. And if you're not aware of what that means, essentially businesses work on cycles. So especially the larger businesses, or businesses with a lot more employees, they'll get their marketing budgets in. And a lot of the time that starts in the new year. So if you're picking up clients at the tail end of the year, November, December time, then they're going to be ready in the new year because they can put that money aside if it's not already been allocated. So they can say, right, Harry, great presentation, really excited, really want to get going. Let's start in the new year when I've got that budget to spend. When you're coming in kind of September, October, end of summertime, potentially, unless they've put that budget aside for Q4, a lot of businesses, a lot of the time, do waste a lot of that budget at the start of the year, but they get their new budgets in. Which leads me on to point 2, which is, and we've recently done a video on this, which is the time in kind of the overall business cycle in terms of the recession. Is now a good time to be starting a social media marketing agency when we're potentially going into a recession or are in a recession? And the answer is absolutely yes. And the reason being, we've done a previous video on this. If you've not watched it, give it a watch, because it really debunks kind of the nitty-gritty details of the recession and the impacts of it. But to summarize that video very shortly here for you, is in a recession, when a business is really struggling to bring in a stream of paying customers, people coming into their store, their shop, their salon, their spa, taking their online course or getting online sales for their clothing brand, when the sales dry up, businesses immediately look to other ways to bring in those customers. And what's the best way to bring in customers, grow a brand in 2022, 2023? It is social media. It's going viral on social media. It's producing targeted marketing campaigns to people that you know are interested in your product and service and getting them back to the sales page. So in a time where, bringing in new customers or getting customers back through the door is a struggle for a lot of businesses, they're going to look directly for your services, and providing that you can portray enough value and educate them in the right way and go about things in an ethical and highly skilled way, which this is the whole aim of my YouTube channel, Someone's YouTube channel, is you're just going to clean up clients. Every month for the past 6 months, our agency's profit has grown month on month. And I think, in fact, I know, because the contracts we've signed for the start of next year is going to be an even bigger year, irrespective of the recession. I actually think the recession is going to help our industry because it's pushed people that have previously rested on their laurels in their business, saying, oh, I don't need that. I rely purely on word of mouth. I rely purely on referrals to grow my business and keep customers coming in. A lot of those businesses are now reevaluating those statements and thinking, perhaps I can't just rely on referrals. Perhaps I can't just rely on word of mouth. And that's a great thing for us because we're the first people they look to. I can't tell you how many people in the past 6 weeks that we've been having meetings with over the past 18 months. And yes, 18 months, sometimes it takes to get a business across the line, especially for a big referral package, a big retainer package, sorry, that are now coming on board. People that have, for the past year and a half, have said, don't need your services. I really don't. I rely on word of mouth, I rely on referrals, I rely on my brand that I've built over the past 20 years. Those customers are now drying up, and those clients are now booking meetings with us saying, Harry, potentially I was wrong in the fact that I didn't need you to grow a brand and keep those customers coming in. And we're seeing it in real time. And going back to that 18-month scenario, that happens, guys. That really does happen. So it's taken us 2 years to get some businesses over the line. And that's not us sitting every day on a sales call to get a business over the line. No, I just mean it from 2 years ago, from our first initial contact with a business, they've come on board 2 years later. And yes, there's been multiple calls, there's been multiple meetings with different shareholders of the business to get that deal over the line. And that's what happened multiple times, but that really does happen. And that's going to happen with you. And that's just the skill of networking and keeping that relationship going until they're at a point of finally pulling the trigger. But the point I'm getting at here, guys, is, and the reason why now is such a good time is more and more people are now pulling the trigger to start working with social media marketing agencies. People just don't have the time or the skill set, because it is a high value skill, to be running these marketing campaigns for themselves. So they're looking to people like Tom and I. They're looking to people like our academy members. They're looking to people like you, who's about to start a social media marketing agency, to start paying you a monthly retainer or a percentage of the profits plus a retainer to be bringing in customers for them. Like they really are. So now there's never been a better time. Which kind of leads me on to my third point, which is combined with what I've just said there, which is SMMA is now becoming even more exposed in a good way, in the sense that more and more people like Tom and I are producing content, more and more people are starting a social media marketing agency, which means more and more businesses and those potential clients are now getting more accustomed to the services that we offer. So they're starting to really understand Facebook ads. They're really starting to understand Google ads, which makes our job even easier, because they understand the service you're selling. When you're going into a meeting with someone that doesn't have a clue what Facebook is, let alone Facebook ads, your job's a little bit harder because you've got to educate them a bit more. But due to so many people starting one, and yes, you might think that's a bad thing, which I'm going to touch on in a second, it's becoming more and more, easy to close these clients because they really understand what the service is. Which leads me on to another point, and I'm kind of juggling lots of points here, but it's super important that you understand the service you're selling. A lot of people are messaging me recently because of the influx of people starting a social media marketing agency saying, Harry, do I need to understand the service I'm selling before I hire a contractor or whatever? And I'm not going to touch on this now, but I really recommend you not hiring a contractor to start with. I recommend you building your agency from the ground up for your first few clients, delivering the service yourself so that you understand every part of the business that puts you in a better position to hire a contractor or an employee. But that's a separate note. It's kind of like expecting a car dealership salesman to sell a car without knowing what color it is, what engine it's got in it, how fast it goes, what brand it is. It would just be impossible. And that's the same with SMMA. Is how can you expect to sell your social media marketing agency services when you don't understand how Facebook ads work? It's impossible to do a sales call. It's impossible to do a sales meeting. It's impossible to do any kind of communication with that client when you don't understand the service you're selling. It's just ridiculous. So which leads me on to my next point, which is how saturated social media marketing is. And we've done a previous video on this, so I'm not going to go into length, but I want to touch on it for those people that are new to the channel and have not watched our previous videos. Which is, yes, it seems like every single person is starting a social media marketing agency in 2022, moving into 2023. But that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing and a bad thing, but the good massively outweighs the negative. But the negatives are that businesses often get stung by these bad agencies. You've got to remember, it's saturated with bad agencies and people that don't know what they're doing. And it's completely unsaturated with businesses like Tom and I's, like our academy members, like people that watch these videos with good agencies. It's very rare that we come across a business that's currently working with an agency that's bringing them in a lot of results or good results or making them a profit. It's very unheard of, which makes our job super easy to go in there, completely debunk everything that they've seen in the past, and we stand out like a sore thumb. The bar is so low for social media marketing agencies, guys, which is why it's such a crucial and important time to be starting one, is because you can stand out from the crowd massively. The bar is down here in terms of getting results, in terms of communication with the client, in terms of how to handle a client, in terms of what you show in a presentation, the bar is really low. So if you educate yourselves, you really understand your service, you really understand how to sell your high ticket services, you stand out like a sore thumb immediately, which makes closing those businesses at $1,000, $2,000 a month super, super easy once you know what you're doing. For those guys that are down here that haven't invested in watching loads of content, haven't invested in a good mentor, they struggle, which is rightly so. You should struggle. But for those guys like you that are watching videos like this, that you can increase your value and you can increase your skill set, you just completely clean up. And that's what Tom and I are seeing day in, day out. And the reason why we're signing so many clients, like we closed £5,000 in extra monthly recurring revenue. We did a video on it 2 days ago and told you exactly how we did it. We wouldn't be doing that if it was a bad time to be starting an agency. The demand for our services are so high, and people really, really need our help, and they need your help as well. If clients were that few and far between, and people were, having to fight over these clients, I wouldn't be making videos like this, because that would be ruining my business. It's like, that wouldn't make any sense. I have a social media marketing agency, but I want to grow to, massive levels. If we had to kind of pinch and choose and fight amongst ourselves with that client, I wouldn't be making these videos. Like, there's enough to go around, guys, especially to those that are educated and have that knowledge and have a skill set and a good agency. You're just going to clean up, which leads me on to my final point, guys, which is SMMA, digital marketing, social media marketing agency, is by far the best, quickest, and easiest way to start making £10,000 online a month. And that might sound really stupid, because when I first started, when that figure was way out of reach for me, and obviously we've surpassed that massively now, is I didn't think that was possible. Someone told me, right, you can make £10,000 online, running online marketing campaigns, social media, time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom. And I know those are really cliche words, but I just laugh at them. And I did laugh at them, because that was half of my parents' yearly salary in a month profit. It didn't make any sense to me. And I think those people that, people earning £10,000 a month is super normal for you. You're going to have a better kind of learning curve in coming around to the fact that that's possible. But for those people that have only seen people make 20 grand a year, it's unheard of. And I think the only way those people, you guys like me, are gonna realize that's possible is just getting stuck into it. Like, do some research into it. Figure out how you can get clients results. Put 6 months aside to learning SMMA. Give it a go. And to do that, step one is learn your services. Learn how to get clients results. Learn your skill. Learn Facebook ads. Learn Google ads. Learn sales funnel creation. Learn copywriting. Once you've got that down to a T, so you can be like, right, once I get a client, I know exactly how to get them results. That bit's sorted. I understand the industry. I understand how I'm going to get them results. All I need now is a client. So that's step one out the way. Almost the hardest part. Then you've got to get a client that's going to pay you at least £1,000 a month every month on a retainer, and then you scale. All you need is 10 of those clients. And I signed my first client £1,500 a month on my 6th cold call. That was 6 months into my journey, because I fucked around doing all the shit practices to get to that point, but I finally did. And I thought, right, I just need to do that 8 times now to get to 6 figures. So once you've got that skill set, sign a client in the right way, in the right processes, and you'll get there. And that's kind of the process, guys. And to reiterate all the points I've gone through there, there's never been a better time. The time of year is perfect. And if you're watching this in January and February, don't worry about it. That's still a good time to start an agency due to the demand that we're in. It's super high demand. The exposure of the industry is exponential now. Everyone understands they need it. It's just finding businesses that are at the right time to pull the trigger and have the budgets. And they're out there. And more of them are coming, to the surface, that now want to work with people like us, people like you. So hopefully that fills you with a lot of confidence, guys. If you've got any questions at all on starting a social media marketing agency, on anything that we've gone through in this video or in a previous video, drop me a message on Instagram. It's Harry_SMMA. If you've not watched our previous video on on how not to be an SMMA sheep, all the things to do to make you stand out from the crowd, which is super important. Watch that video. There'll be a link here and in the description. If you're interested in any one-to-one mentorship, and I don't mean a video course, click the link below, drop me a message, and yeah, watch the 20-minute video on the website about everything that's included in our mentorship program. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.